We waited long enough to have some fun, and we are now joined by the president of fun. The president and CEO of the Michigan Festivals and Events Association, Mike Szukhent, joins us now on the MegaCast. Mike, thanks for coming back.
Thanks, Tyler, for having me. Appreciate it.
Appreciate having you on, so that you can also, anyone can find more information on your organization and events at michiganfun.com. What are some interesting events coming up locally and really across the state in the coming weeks and months? Of course, we know about the Woodward Dream Cruise, but even beyond that.
Well, in conjunction with the Woodward Dream Cruise is the Flint Back to the Bricks. I was at a preview party last night at the Birch Run Speedway. They had cars all across that half-mile track. It was a great showing. People are excited. Again, and I've been saying this all year long since May, people are just hungry to get out there and start interacting and getting back to their friends and family and their relationships. And every single festival and event that has been able to come off this year has had record attendance and record revenue generated because people are just so excited to get out and about. Almost as excited as I was listening to your last speaker talk about honey in the D. I mean, yeah. I get honey in my coffee every morning and honey on my warm biscuits, and all that stuff is fun. It makes you feel good, kind of like going to a festival and event and seeing all your friends that you haven't seen since last year.
We're joined by Mike Szukhent. He's the president and CEO of the Michigan Festivals and Events Association, with us on the MegaCast. And as these organizations are planning these events that are coming up in the next coming month, as they have been for the next coming months and throughout the rest of 2021, COVID-19 still very much is looming behind us. We've seen an uptick in cases recently across the U.S., not necessarily as severely here in the state of Michigan, and hopefully that continues to be the situation, but it's still there, and it's still out there, and there's still concern regarding the virus. How is that accounting into their plans going through the rest of 2021 and looking into 2022 as they're planning these events, especially as they're, in many cases, comeback events after they were canceled or done without in 2020?
Well, Tyler, obviously everyone's keeping an eye on it. It's that shadow in the darkness that you're wondering what exactly is it, and is it coming out, or is it just going to be something passing? COVID obviously is real, and the Delta variant is obviously real. We don't know exactly what the effects of that are going to be or what the ramifications are going to be. So, I'm still sticking with the same thing I did for the last 2 years. Plan your event, come up with your A plan, your B plan, and if God forbid you have to have a C plan for cancellation, then you have it. But if you don't plan the event, you won't have things in place for it. And so far, everybody, as I said earlier, everyone is having a fantastic year right now. We are in the process of planning our 29th annual convention. We are excited to not be virtual this year. We're going to be up at Boyne Mountain, November 4th through 6th. But yes, even we're looking at our plan A and our plan B. We will not have a plan C. We will either do it in person, or if we have to, we'll add a virtual component to it. But, life has to go on. And I think that's what we're seeing, is that the majority of people are of the belief that life has to go on and we need to have that interaction. Festivals and events, fairs, I mean, this is county fair month. I mean, Everybody's got their county fairs going on, and fantastic entertainment at those fairs and lots of activities. But festivals and events and fairs are a major economic stimulator to our economy here in the state of Michigan. Festivals, fairs, and events makes up over $1 billion of economic impact. So it's a necessity. It's a necessity for our state of mind. It's a necessity for our small town businesses that need to have that out of town money coming in to buy those coffee, donuts, that Michigan honey, whatever the case may be, to be able to promote and support those businesses. A lot of those small towns, it's the festival, fair, or event that comes to town that gives them that bump that they need to get through those slower months of the year.
Yeah, just a couple weeks ago, I was in Grand Haven for their annual Coast Guard Festival, and a lot of those businesses. I talked to a few of the smaller businesses that were in town there, and about the impact of having the Coast Guard Festival back in town. And they were saying they make the vast majority of their money for the entire year during that 1 week period. And of course, the summer season is more fruitful for them as well because it is a beach town. But that 1 week is the biggest week of the year. Not having that in 2020 had, of course, a significant impact on businesses that were already hard-strapped for cash because of the situation with COVID-19. So Mike Szukhent's with us. He's the president and the CEO of the Michigan Festivals and Events Association, joining us today on the MegaCast. And in terms of the virtual element, because many of these events are going back to in-person. They want to go back to in-person, stay away from virtual, because people have been clamoring to get back in person and back interacting with other people and returning to some sense of normalcy as we slowly but surely begin our emergence outside of the pandemic. But in terms of virtual options, are those still being encouraged in planning these events to give people that maybe are not able to show up in person for one reason or another, whether it be proximity, whether it be medical reasons or something else, an opportunity to still participate and maybe another stream of revenue for these organizations as well?
Well, the events that are going on virtually, they keep people involved and keep interest, but they really are not doing much for revenue generation.
Okay.
I mean, if you're going to have a road race, and I'll use in the Flint, they have the Bobby Krim Festival of Races. They'll bring in over 100,000 people in a weekend into downtown Flint. To do that race virtually, you may still get the people that compete in that race, but your downtown community is not going to see a dollar of that. So, is it something that keeps people engaged? Yes. Is it a substitute for having it in person? It's a poor substitute. I mean, you do what you have to do. We would do the same thing for our convention, making it virtual for those people that are uncomfortable with coming to an event if the Delta variant becomes more of a concern. But people want to have that interaction. People want to be able to meet people and to talk to them. And I'm a hugger. I love to give people hugs. It's been a long 15, 16 months. No one's hugged me. I am hug deprived.
Oh no. Can't have that. No, we can't have hug deprivation. Enough of the hug deprivation. Let's get back out there, but do it safely as well. We're joined by Mike Szukhent, the president and CEO of the Michigan Festival and Events Association. And we got a lot of really fun events coming up. The big one, of course, here in the local area is the Woodward Dream Cruise. And we also have, on top of that, another great event that's going to be kicking off at the M1 Concourse August 20th and 21st. It's the Woodward Dream Show. Can you tell us a little bit about what people can expect at that event as they're cruising all throughout Metro Detroit in their classic cars and exploring the great automotive culture we have in metropolitan Detroit?
Well, I think the Southeast Michigan in general is just full of those gearhead car fans, and being able, whether you're at the Woodward Dream Cruise or the M1 Concourse, to be able to see those beautiful automobiles, to hear the roar of those motors, to be able to look at the chrome and the polish that people put on those cars and the amount of love that they put into those vehicles, it's like going to an art museum. It's a passion that makes your heart race. And, we here in Michigan, we're the automobile capital of the world. And to have to go back and reminisce over those cars that we drove as kids, or those cars that we didn't drive as kids because we weren't old enough to drive at that point in time, whatever the case may be, we all appreciate the workmanship in building those cars, the love that goes into preserving those cars, and just appreciate the automotive industry. And the automotive industry is a major player in our economy here in the state of Michigan. It's what built the state of Michigan.
Mike Szukhent is with us on the MegaCast. He's the president and CEO of the Michigan Festivals and Events Association. You can find more information on their organization and other events that they are helping and participating in this year at michiganfun.com. And Mike, as these events are being planned going forward, and more municipalities and local areas and organizations pop up and want to have a big coming out party after getting back out on the other side of the pandemic, how can their participation in an organization like yours benefit putting their best foot forward and holding those events to not only make them profitable if they're trying to make a profit off of them or if they're trying to raise money for a good cause, but also to make them fun and memorable for people that are committing to these events as post-pandemic memories?
Well, Tyler, what we do here at Michigan Festivals event is we help support the organizers of those events. We offer education, training, how to manipulate through various, what you need to do to be able to serve alcoholic beverages, what you need to do to be able to get a raffle license, what you need to do to be able to especially 2020, the social distancing, the hand washing stations, to be able to make it safe and welcoming to our attendees. I think the carnival, the outdoor amusement industry did a fantastic job of being leaders in the state of Michigan on making sure that the rides were safe, by social distancing, by using every other seat, by washing down and sanitizing those things. And those are all the things that we bring to those festivals and events, in addition to the vendors and regulations that they need to do. And lastly, we're a statewide organization. We have a big footprint, and if you have an event and you want to just advertise it in your small town, by all means, use your local newspaper, use your TV, radio station. But if you're looking for the out-of-town visitor to come in there, we've got a big presence. We're statewide. We've printed 300,000 magazines in the past. We are on, our website is one of the highest rated SEOs for Michigan festivals. So if you're interested in promoting your event and going statewide to get the out-of-towners to come in and spend money in your community, Michigan Festivals Events is a very affordable way of getting there.
We're joined by Mike Szukhent, the president and CEO of the Michigan Festivals and Events Association, michiganfun.com for more information on the organization and its events. And so Mike, we want to talk about coming back out into the community and having these events that are providing memories for people, getting people back out interacting with each other, but also are out there for a good cause and for creating a better community. We have the the Motor City Pride Festival and Parade coming up in September. What can people expect at this celebration and this embracement in our community of this community coming up in September, especially after we didn't have this necessarily at this capacity during the pandemic?
Well, I think just as same as any festival and event, the attendance will be record setting. And when I say record setting, I'm not comparing it to 2020. That bar's too low. I'm talking about 2019 records, and all the events. You're going to see people attending the events. People are, as I said earlier, they're yearning to get outside. They're yearning to be with friends and family. They're yearning to do something other than sit in front of the TV set.
We're joined by Mike Szukhent, the president of FUN. He's the president and CEO of the Michigan Festivals and Events Association, joining us today on the MegaCast. Mike, another couple of minutes with you today before we'll say goodbye. Anything else that would be important for our audience to know about the way that events are being planned right now as we're continuing through the pandemic, or anything else that would be important for those that are listening and watching today to know?
Tyler, if I were to say anything to the audience, it would be, we have a number of challenges that we're dealing with in 2021. One is we're coming out of COVID, and two, there is a shortage of workers. And the festivals and events industry has seen that. There's been carnivals that have not been able to bring the number of rides that they usually bring because they don't have staff to be able to run them, or they don't have the people to manage their food wagons. Lines are sometimes a little bit long. So, I just ask everybody to be patient. We're able to do these things. It's no different than going to any of the restaurants in town or any of the other shops. We've got a worker shortage, and as the state works through that, be patient and be courteous. We all need a little bit of a friendly. I understand. I'm patient. Let's move forward on. Doesn't do anybody any good to get upset over having to be in a long line. I'm happy that they're happening. I spent the last 2 weeks touring the state of Michigan, going from festival to festival to festival, and the thing that I'm hearing from everybody is that we're just so glad that they're back. Just so glad that they're back.
We're joined by Mike Szukhent, the president and CEO of the Michigan Festivals and Events Association. We appreciate having you on, and definitely a good message to cap off today's show with. Be patient, be kind to people, because nothing's more fun than keeping it a good time in any situation for everybody involved. And no better person to deliver that message than the president of fun, Mike Szukhent, the president and CEO of the Michigan Festivals and Events Association. You can find more information on michiganfun.com. Mike, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, Tyler. Have a great day.
You as well. That is going to do it for today's edition of the MegaCast. We encourage you to tune in to replays throughout the day on Civic Center TV, and find us online, civiccentertv.com/MegaCast. Big thank you to Kurt Metzger, the mayor of Pleasant Ridge, as well as Brian Kelly, the Small Business Association of Michigan president, for joining us today. Chris Kadolka and Christina Procoli from the Sylvan Table Restaurant, Bees and a D founder Brian Peterson, as well as Mike Szukhent, and a shout out to our entire crew, Calvin, Larry, and everybody involved. That's going to do it for today's MegaCast. We'll return tomorrow live at 10 a.m.